Hey everyone, so I am back from Nationals. So I quite literally turned my room upside down. So my desk was just cluttered, everything is still cluttered. So I haven't been making videos for a while, but since I'm just really excited about this video, I just cleared off my desk, um, and I am making the video now. So it took me a while, but I want to go over my idea for the 7 Great Demon Lords deck. So there are different ways that you can approach this, but I wanted to talk about how I plan on approaching this idea. So first, Gate of Deadly Sins, 4 of them. So there is an idea floating around kind of as a meme, but you can run Kingdrasil in your deck. And I myself have considered using 4 Gate of Deadly Sins and 1 Kingdrasil, but most likely that if I do make that into a deck one day, it will be a separate video. You quite literally have to make the deck function without needing Agudamon, which I mean is pretty easy, but you also have to build the deck with consideration that you might not delete your Digimon turn after turn after turn. But for this current video, I will only use Gate of the Deadly Sins. So there is a pro and a con to using Kingdrasil. So pro, you can stack up to 4 of these Gate of Deadly Sins under Kingdrasil. Pro, if Kingdrasil is not the first egg, it will later be absorbed under Gate of Deadly Sins, and it will count as a different Digivolution source, so it will be quicker to get Agudamon out. Con, if it is your first egg, then you cannot cheese out Agudamon, because Gate of the Deadly Sins is it has to be this as the top Digi-Egg to actually cheese out Agudamon, but if you hatch Kingdrasil first, then you don't cheese Agudamon out, but you do get to keep your Digimon in play turn after turn without deleting them. So there are some pros and cons. Another con is if you do not hatch Kingdrasil as the first egg, it is a later egg, then you cannot decrease play cost as quickly as if you only ran Gate of the Deadly Sins. So for example, if your second egg is Kingdrasil, or your third egg or fourth egg is Kingdrasil, then it will put you basically a turn behind. So instead of reducing by 9 play costs on your on your third turn, then you can only reduce by 6 play cost, just because a Kingdrasil took up the space. But long story short, I will only use 4 Gate of Deadly Sins in this video. I might make a video later on with a Kingdrasil, but it will be significantly changed from this deck profile. So the effect of Gate of Deadly Sins. Breeding. So it activates in Breeding. Start of your main phase. Place the top card of your Digi-Egg deck as this Digimon's Bum Digivolution card, and delete all of your Digimon. So this is similar to Kingdrasil from BT13. So it's start of main phase, you just absorb the top Digi-Egg from your Digi-Egg deck. Place it at the bottom source of this card. However, instead of absorbing Royal Knights and placing them under, you delete all of your Digimon, whether they are 7 Great Demon Lords, or if they are not 7 Great Demon Lords, but basically just wipe all of your Digimon turn after turn. So it will be very hard for you, when you're playing this deck, to be able to swing your opponent, unless your Digimon has Protection or Rush. So Lilithmon and EX6 has Protection. Beelzemon from EX6 has Rush. So if you do not have Protection or Rush, then you basically cannot swing with your Digimon. Your Digimon just keep being deleted turn after turn. So there is basically, while you have Gate of Deadly Sins, you can't really get attacks in unless you can protect your Digimon from being deleted by the mandatory start of main phase effect, or if you have Rush, so as soon as you play it, then you can swing with it. But I'm going to take this deck in a very interesting direction. If this effect deleted any of your Digimon, place one card with the 7 Great Demon Lords trait from your trash as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution card. So start main phase effect is mandatory. You will place the top Digi-Egg under sources. Even if you run out of Digi-Eggs, you will still continue to delete your Digimon turn after turn, as long as Gate of Deadly Sins is still in the breeding area. So only when Gate of Deadly Sins is no longer the top Digivolution card in your breeding area, then you will stop delaying your Digimon turn after turn. So this is where Kingdrasil comes in handy. If Kingdrasil is the top Digivolution card, then you don't have to delete all of your Digimon turn after turn. You also get an extra inheritable to decrease play costs. But for this build, only for Gate of Deadly Sins, I am making this in mind with the intent of having my Digimon deleted turn after turn. So breeding end of opponent's turn by deleting this Digimon with 7 or more cards with different names and its Digivolution cards. You may play one Ogudamon from your trash without paying the cost. So again, with the Kingdrasil, if you do run Kingdrasil, then it does count as a different name Digivolution source. So it could help you to cheese out Ogudamon earlier. But for this build, again, I'm not using Kingdrasil, just because I want to focus on the pure Gate of Deadly Sins build first. Inherit effect, breeding your turn once per turn. When one of your Digimon with the 7 Great Demon Lords trait would be played, you may reduce the play cost by 3. If this Digimon has 5 or more cards for different names in its Digivolution cards, reduce the play cost by 4 instead. So this is pretty self-explanatory. So turn 1, you will hatch Gate of Deadly Sins. Then you will immediately place another Gate of Deadly Sins under it. So from your first turn, you can reduce play cost by as much as 3. Then on your second turn, you place another Gate of Deadly Sins under it. You possibly will delete your Digimon in play and then tuck a 7 Great Demon Lords from trash under this. But still, even if you did that, you would only, at most, be able to decrease cost by 6. And then turn after that, once you place your fourth and final Gate of Deadly Sins under it, then you can reduce play cost by 9. So basically, after your on your third turn or after, you can play your Demon Lords for very cheap. 7 Great Demon Lords for very cheap. Some of them can even keep turn if you have a memory setter. But yeah, basically the first few turns, they're still really expensive. So what I'm trying to do is the first few turns, I would rather play any of these 4 cards up above. I don't want to give my opponent a ton of memory, so I'd much rather play these cards. I would play them probably in this order of preference. So if on turn 1 I have the choice between these 4 cards, I would ideally play Sysmon Blanc first. So on play, by trashing 1 card in your hand, draw 2. So if I'm going first, I would love to play Sysmon Blanc, play it from hand, trash a 7 Great Demon Lord from hand to trash to draw 2 cards. So these cards will function mainly as my draw engine, but they will also help me to discard cards to the trash. And then turn after my turn 2, my second turn, Gate of Deadly Sins will delete Sysmon Blanc. It will have deleted a Digimon. So then the 7 Great Demon Lords that I just pitched to the trash, I can tuck it under Gate of Deadly Sins because I deleted a Digimon. So the opening play that you really want to do first is a card that, will enable you to get a 7 Great Demon Lord into the trash. Sysmon Blanc is probably the best one because you can guarantee that when you play Sysmon Blanc, you have a 7 Great Demon Lords card in hand, you can pitch it to the trash. And it's only 3 memories, so it's not bad. Lucimon, you can basically guarantee that you will trash a 7 Great Demon Lord, but it will be 5 cost on turn 1, which isn't great. So there's no Digivolution over Cupimon, so that doesn't matter. It's 10 play cost, but when you would play this card from the hand, if you don't have a level 5 or lower Digimon, reduce the play cost by 5, so it will be a 5 play cost, 10,000 DP, level 3 Digimon. But again, level 3, like 5 play cost, turn 1 is still pretty expensive. I would really not like to drop Lucemon, but, you know, considering other options, Lucemon is still better than just playing a 7 Great Demon Lord on turn 1 with really no benefit to you. So start of your main phase or on play. Reveal top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 card of the Angel, Archangel, 3 Great Angels, or 7 Great Demon Lords trait among them to the hand. Trash the rest. So you play this, you reveal top 3. Among those 3, you pick whichever Lucemon or 7 Great Demon Lords trait card you want, and then you trash the rest. Chances are pretty good that you will trash at least 1 7 Great Demon Lord trait card. So this is still pretty good, just because you do want to get 7 Great Demon Lords into the trash early, so that you can ramp up Gate of Deadly Sins early. But I don't like how it's 5 play costs, but between other options, this is still one of the better things to do turn 1. On your first turn, even may not even be turn 1, could be turn 2. But on your first turn, this is one of the better plays out there. End of your turn, once per turn, this is only really relevant once this is like mid to late game, and you can play out a level 6, 7 Great Demon Lords. But end of your turn, once per turn, by placing one of your level 6 Digimon on top of your security stack, this Digimon may Digivolve into Lucemon Chaos Mode from your trash without paying the cost. So this card is really good. So it will help you late game, mid game to even recover. So as long as it's your 3rd turn or later, you can cheese out a 7 Great Demon Lord by at least 9 play cost reduction. I say at least because if you have more names under Gate of Deadly Sins, it could be as much as 12 play cost reduction. But, you know, even 9 play cost reduction is still really good. You can most likely play a level 6, 7 Great Demon Lords, keep turn. Then you just plop down Lucemon for 5. It will probably pass over your opponent's turn, but before it does, you will search top 3, add a 7 Great Demon Lords or Lucemon to hand, trash the rest, and then end of turn, you take the level 6 that you just plopped down for like 2 cost, 3 cost after the 9 play cost reduction. You take that, you put it on top of your security stack, and then you may Digivolve this into Lucemon Chaos Mode from trash. So if you do have a Lucemon Chaos Mode in trash, then you activate the when Digivolving effects. We will get to those later. But even if you don't want to Digivolve into a Lucemon Chaos Mode, you can just plop down to level 6, use its on-play effect, and then after that, because, you know, oh, that level 6 will die anyways, so it doesn't really matter, you plop down this Lucemon for 5 memory. You place that level 6 Digimon that you just played for 2 or 3 memory, place it on top of security. So, oh, cool, you're building your defenses. So even if you don't have a Lucemon Chaos Mode in trash, or you don't want to Digivolve into it, you at least get more security. So this is really good. But if you do have a Lucemon Chaos Mode in trash, you Digivolve into it, you get the Digivolution bonus, and you get that when Digivolving, both of them have really great when Digivolvings, so we'll get to those later. Boogeyman is probably the 3rd best card that I can think of right now. Arguably, Boogeyman could be replaced by a Labramon or the Elekmon from Zardak 16. So basically draw 1, trash 1 on play. Or the Siakomon from EX5. Basically draw 1 for each of your opponent's Digimon, then trash 1 card in hand. But Boogeyman is still pretty good. So I would say that Boogeyman is up for debate between those other cards. But on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card with the Fallen Angel or Demon Lord trait, and 1 purple option card among them to the hand. Return the rest of the bottom of the deck. If you add cards, trash 1 card in hand. So I kind of like this. So I prefer this currently over Labramon, Elecmon, and Siakamon, just because Boogeyman, when you play Boogeyman, you get to reveal the top three. So you grab whichever of those three cards you need. The only card that you cannot really grab are the rookies, another copy of Boogeyman, or Ogudamon. But basically everything else in the deck has 7 Great Demon Lords trait, which, by extension, if you did not know, all the 7 Great Demon Lords have Demon Lord in their traits. All of them currently. So you can grab any of those 7 Great Demon Lords. And a purple option. So it's like, oh, cool. You look top 3, grab 1 or 2 of those cards. Trash 1 card in hand. So it does seem like you are able to dig deeper into the deck. I don't like how this is 4 play costs, but I am not sure. But I would say that between Boogeyman, Labramon, Siakamon, and Elecmon, you can probably interchange them. I'm running 4 Boogeyman at the moment to see how it is. And of course, 4 Ascent of the 7 Great Demon Lords. So this is the quote-unquote Roll Knights of the Purge of the 7 Great Demon Lords deck. So it is an option with delay effect. So 4 costs. Main effect, you may place 1 Digimon card with the 7 Great Demon Lords trait from your hand or trash as the bottom Digivolution card of the Gate of Deadly Sins in your breeding area. Then place this card in the battle area. All turns, when one of your Digimon with the 7 Great Demon Lords trait is delayed, delay. So I did check this rolling before. So we currently don't have many cards with a triggered delay ability. So when we think about delay, we mostly think about the memory boosts and the training cards. So they have main phase delay effects, so they are activated abilities. For Ascent of the 7 Great Demon Lords, this is an example of a triggered delay ability. So when something happens and then the condition is met, I did check if this is mandatory or optional. This is completely optional. So even if one of your Digimon with the 7 Great Demon Lords trait is delayed, you can choose to delay or you can choose to not delay. But just to put it out there, you don't have to do this as soon as one of your 7 Great Demon Lords is delayed. But when one is delayed, at least one is delayed, then you may choose to activate this. You may play 1 Digimon card with the 7 Great Demon Lords trait from the Digivolution cards of your Gate of Deadly Sins in the breeding area without paying the cost. So I do like this card. So 1, you can accelerate Gate of Deadly Sins. So, if you are trashing cards via Lucamon, Boogeyman, Systemon Blanc, and some other cards that we'll get to in a bit, you can fill up your trash with 7 Great Demon Lords trait cards. You can now tuck a Digimon card with 7 Great Demon Lords trait from hand or trash under Gate of Deadly Sins. Now this is really important. It's a Digimon card with 7 Great Demon Lords. I am running several cards with the trait, but they're not Digimon cards. Like Ascent of 7 Great Demon Lords is a perfect example. You cannot tuck options under Gate of Deadly Sins with the effect of Ascent of 7 Great Demon Lords, but you can tuck them under Gate of Deadly Sins with Gate of Deadly Sins' own effect. Place 1 card of 7 Great Demon Lords trait from your trash as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution card. Once you do the mandatory delete Digimon, if you delete something start of your turn, then you can place any 7 Great Demon Lord trait card under this. So you could place options with 7 Great Demon Lords under it. And your other 7 Great Demon Lords, most of them have the effect that when they would leave the battle area, you can place a 7 Great Demon Lord trait card under Gate of Deadly Sins. So you can also place options under it. But bear in mind that for this effect, you can only place Digimon, 7 Great Demon Lords under it. But I do like the delay effect also. So for the delay, you have really powerful 7 Great Demon Lords with on-play abilities. Roll Knights of the Purge, when you bring a card out, it gains Rush, but its on-play doesn't activate. For a set of the 7 Great Demon Lords, it does not gain Rush, but it does activate its on play. So my deck is more focused on removal and just, stalling as I build up my sources under Gave Deadly Sins. So it's a more defensive strategy, similar to how I play Royal Knights. But yeah, I'm playing this in a more defensive way. My 7 Great Demon Lords have effects that will slow the opponent down. So just being able to pick whichever 7 Great Demon Lord Digimon I want to activate their on play again is pretty fun. Pretty fun. So it does help to ramp up Gate of Deadly Sins, but it also does help to remove things that's necessary. So I am choosing to play 4 Lucemon Chaos modes. I will probably bump this up later in the future once we get Lucemon Satan mode, but we currently do not have that. So I'm just running the 4 EX6 Lucemons for now. And I wanted to run 5 Lucemon Chaos modes just to go over why I'm doing a 2-3 split. Lucemon Chaos mode BT7 is still really good. Has a really great on-play effect. When Digivolving effect. Lucemon Chaos mode EX6 is not as great an effect, but it does have an alternate effect that is really good, and it probably is more than worth it to make it really great in this deck. But because Lucemon Chaos mode BT7 can do things that EX6 Lucemon Chaos mode cannot, then it makes more sense to just run a mixture of them, but probably 2 on this side, 3 on this side. But let's go over the effects. 14 play cost, 12,000 DP. Your Lucemon can digivolve into this card in your hand for memory cost of 7, ignoring this card's digivolution requirements. Most of the, honestly, I would say 99% of the time, 99.99999% of the time, you will not digivolve Lucemon into Lucemon Chaos mode with this effect. You will probably use the end of your turn effect to go into Lucemon Chaos mode without paying cost. So that doesn't really matter. This might matter, though. For every 10 cards in your trash, reduce the memory cost when playing this card from your hand by 3. So this can stack with the Gate of Deadly Sins. So the Gate of Deadly Sins is a passive effect. It is optional. So if you want, you can stack this effect with the other effect. So, for example, if you have 3 Gate of Deadly Sins, reduced by 3, reduced by 3, reduced by 3, reduced by 12, you have 10 or more cards in trash, reduced by another 3. You could reduce this by 12. No, I did math wrong. 3, 6, 9. So you could reduce this by 12. But yeah, it could come up when you play it. So it could be really, really cheap. It could be free. You could use the effect to reduce it, or you can save it for a different Digimon entirely. But, either this will be free or just really cheap, but really good removal. On play, when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Tamers or level 6 or lower Digimon. So I really like this. If you remove a Tamer, it could really put a dent into Hunters, or it could put a dent into Blue Flare, just because they tuck a bunch of Digimon under their Tamer. So once you remove that Tamer, they lose a bunch of their sources, or even with Crossheart. But basically, some decks rely on their Tamers. This is a really good Tamer removal when you just play it, or you Digivolve into it from Lucemon, EX6. But really good removal, level 6 or lower Digimon, or one of your opponent's Tamers. Now, this on play when Digivolving is not as strong, but its all turns makes up for it having a lackluster, in comparison, effect to Lucemon Chaos Mode BT7. On play when Digivolving, your opponent may delete one of their Digimon or Tamers. If this effect didn't delete, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack and recover +1 from deck. So I don't think that this on play when digivolving is as strong as the BT7 Lucemon Chaos Mode. BT7 Chaos Mode, you can choose, oh, you have a problematic Digimon, I want to remove that Digimon. Or, oh, you have this tamer that, is basically the life and blood of your deck, and I want to remove this tamer. So basically, BT7 Lucemon, you can pick, oh, whichever card is giving me the most trouble, I will choose to remove that card. With EX6 Lucemon Chaos Mode, your opponent chooses if they even want to. So when you play or digivolve into this card, you give your opponent the option, hey, you can delete one of your Digimon or Tamers. If you do not delete any, then I will trash top card of your security and recover one. But most likely, your opponent will choose whichever option will cause them the least harm. So if, you're playing against a Bloomlord player, and then they have a level 3 that they just played out for free, and they have a Bloomlord and have a level 5, they have a level 4, they have maybe 2 Tamers or something. If you play this, they will most likely delete the level 3 that will cause them the least amount of harm. But, you kind of really want them to get rid of the Bloomlord, or the level 5, or the Tamer. You can't really choose with this. Conversely, if your opponent is like, oh, cool, I don't have any security cards, so sure, you can trash my top security, you can recover one. I'll keep the thing on board that I need to have lethal next turn, or whatever it is, but, this card, your opponent will do whatever they can to either keep lethal against you, or to avoid lethal. So, if you want to get rid of a blocker, your opponent can choose not to get rid of the blocker. So I like the choice that comes with BT7 Lucemon Chaos Mode. You can choose, oh yeah, which card is giving me the most harm. I will remove it. Lucemon Chaos Mode EX6 is like, oh yeah, you can choose, but most likely they will choose whichever card they can do without, and it will have no significant impact on it being removed. But all turns when this Digimon would leave the battle area, by returning one Lucemon from this Digimon's Digivolution cards, or from your trash to the bottom of the deck, you may play a one Lucemon Sand Mode or level 6 Digimon card with the 7 Great Demon Lords trait from your trash without paying the cost. So, situationally, the on-play when digivolving can come up, but it's significantly weaker than BT7 Lucemon Chaos Mode's on play when digivolving. It also doesn't have the play cost reduction when you would play it from hand. But, when this would leave, you don't have Lucemon Sand Modes yet, but you can play a level 6 7 Great Demon Lords trait, Digimon from your trash for free. And again, your level 6, or like all of your 7 Great Demon Lords, have really great on-play effects. At least the ones in my deck, honestly. 3, Beelzemon EX6. It has a Rush, which is kind of nice. I don't really run it because it has Rush, but because of different reasons that we'll get to later. On play when digivolving, trash top 4 cards of your deck. Then if your trash has 10 or more cards in your trash, de-digivolve to one of your opponent's Digimon. So again, this card is really good. I do want to focus on getting more 7 Great Demon Lords trait cards into the trash. So System Blanc, trash is from hand. Lucemon, you could trash, at most 2 7 Great Demon Lords trait cards if you're lucky. Boogiemon, you could potentially trash 1 or 2. No, that's not even right. You trash 1 card from hand. So this will at most trash 1. This will at most trash 1. This could trash 2 potentially. But yeah, I kind of want more trashing. So I do like this Beelzemon. You play it, you trash top 4 cards of your deck. There's a pretty good likelihood that you will fill up your trash with 7 Great Demon Lord trait cards. The Digivolve 2 isn't really as strong as other effects, but situationally it could be helpful. And then it has that all turns that a bunch of the 7 Great Demon Lords trait cards have. When this Digimon would leave the battle area, other than in battle, place one card with the 7 Great Demon Lords trait from your trash as the bottom Digivolution card of one of your Gate of Deadly Sins in your breeding area. So this does it innately, but having that extra effect that also does it, it will help you to ramp up Gate of Deadly Sins even quicker. I'm not running all of the EX6 7 Great Demon Lords because you don't really need to ramp as often as you think. Between you ramping every turn from Gate of Deadly Sins with its mandatory deletion effect, and ramping with Ascent of the 7 Great Demon Lords, surprisingly, I find that you don't really need all of your 7 Great Demon Lords to have this ramping effect. It is helpful, but if you do not have as many 7 Great Demon Lords trait cards in trash, then that's like your limiter. I do like Beelzemon because it will fill up your trash with more 7 Great Demon Lords. So it will make it so then you will have more 7 Great Demon Lords trait cards in trash, so you can tuck under Gate of Deadly Sins. So it kind of removes the limiter if you did not run as many trashing effects. I am running EX5 Leviamon. I don't really like EX6 Leviamon. So let's actually look at EX6 Leviamon. No, this is the EX6 Leviamon. So all turns, once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon or one of your Digimon with the 7 Great Demon Lords trait is played, it even counts itself. Similar wording to Gaussmon. I don't know which Gaussmon, but I think EX4. But similar wording to Gaussmon or even BT13 Ulforce Veedramon, because it is a 7 Great Demon Lords trait Digimon, and it will, when you play it, then it will count itself. Then it basically has this effect, which is also a pseudo on play. So basically, when you play a 7 Great Demon Lords trait card, most likely you will only have enough memory to play this card. But when you play basically Leviamon, you can trash one card in hand, return bottom 3 Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon to the bottom of the deck. Then if your opponent has as many or less total Digimon and Tamers as you, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards. So this is basically the opposite of EX5 Leviamon. EX5 Leviamon, you have to have less Tamers and or Digimon or equal to your opponent. For EX6 Leviamon, your opponent has to have less than you or as many as you. So EX5 Leviamon, you have to have less Digimon and Tamers than your opponent. EX6 Leviamon, you have to have more Digimon and or Tamers than your opponent, or of course equal to. But I don't really like this. Most likely if you're playing Gate of Deadly Sins, your resources will be very, very small. You will basically have no Digimon at the start of all of your turns. So I don't like the idea of me having to have more Digimon or Tamers than my opponent to be able to activate this effect. So, you know, it's not worth it. I do not like this. If you're playing a more heavy Tamer reliant build, then maybe. But I like the EX5 Leviamon just because I can almost guarantee, and by almost guarantee, I can 100% guarantee that I will always have less Digimon and or Tamers in them if they have at least one target that I want to remove. Basically, if I have 0 Digimon, they have 1 Digimon, I can always guarantee that I will have less or equal Digimon and or Tamers in them. So I just like EX5 Leviamon more. And again, the all turns effect, same thing as Beelzemon. You don't really need too many of these all turns effects. So I don't like it. I don't like this card, so it doesn't make sense for me to run it. And also, there's not very draw power in the deck. I don't like how Leviamon EX6, you have to trash a card in hand to really activate the quote-unquote on-play effect. So it's just not good. I don't like it. But I love EX5 Leviamon so much more. On play when digivolving, if your opponent has as many or more total Digimon and Tamers as you, delete one of your opponent's highest level Digimon, then delete one of your opponent's lowest level Digimon. You can potentially delete 2 Digimon with this on play effect. If they have one singular Digimon with one instance of protection, even if it's not once per turn, you can delete it with this Leviamon. So you play this for 13. Technically, it will be less. You will never play this for 13. But, 13 play costs reduced by however much you have Gate of Deadly Sins times 3. So if you have 3 inheritables, reduced by 9. So this could be 4 play cost. When you play this, you delete 2 things. All turns, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, gain 1 memory for each Digimon deleted. You can gain 2 memory back. So if you play this for 4 and you gain 2 memory back, it's a net 2 on play, delete 2 Digimon. So this is really good. This is really good. But, if your opponent has one singular Digimon out and they have one instance of protection on that thing, you can just play Leviamon, attempt to delete their highest level Digimon. They use that protection effect. And since the rest of Leviamon's effect will continue to resolve, delete their lowest level Digimon. And again, it will target that same Digimon because it is the only Digimon they have. They cannot use that protection effect again because a protection effect can only be used once in a quote-unquote deletion chain. So if this is still pending resolution, they cannot again they cannot protect it from the same deletion. It's technically a different target, but it's part of the same effect. So they can only use one protection for Leviamon's on play. It will attempt to delete it twice, but they can only protect it once. So it will get rid of something like a Grace Novamon. So yeah, this could, even if it got rid of one thing, after reducing by 9, it will be 4, gain back 1, so it will be 3 net memory. But yeah, this is absurdly good. So much better than in my opinion, EX6 Leviamon, so I just like this more. It doesn't have that all turns effect when this Digimon would leave, then you can tuck a 7 Great Demon Lords under Gate of Deadly Sins. But again, I find that you don't really need as much of those effects, simply because this does it innately turn after turn as long as you delete one of your Digimon. This will help you to do it. And of course, I'm playing, other 7 Great Demon Lords that have that effect. So not all of my 7 Great Demon Lords have to have that effect for it to make a noticeable difference. 2 copies currently of Belphegor Sleep Mode BT13. So this is kind of a fun thing that I'm trying out. So I do like Belphegor Sleep Mode. It is a 7 Great Demon Lord. Has a really good on play. By placing one Belphegon's Rage Mode from your trash as this Digimon's top Digivolution card, until the end of your opponent's turn, this Digimon can't attack and isn't affected by your opponent's effects. So if you place this out, this will have immunity for your opponent until the end of your opponent's turn, which surprisingly can help you. And I will go over that in a second. Opponent's turn, once per turn, when opponent's Digimon attacks by trashing 2 cards in your hand, end the attack. So I did say that I don't like Leviamon from EX6 because you have to trash cards in hand to activate the quote-unquote on-play ability. Belphegor Sleep Mode, I do like this effect because, if you can stop your opponent from getting an attack in, then it's more defensive. You don't have to trash cards to stop the attack. You can just not stop the attack. But if you find it situational to do it, then it's more like icing on the cake kind of thing. It already has a good on play effect, but if you should want to stop your opponent's attack, it could save you from lethal or whatever reason. Maybe you just want to trash 7 Great Demon Lords cards, get them into the trash, so you could do that. But I do like the effect to blink an opponent's attack. Leviathan from EX6, you kind of have to do it for it to basically do anything. But for this, it already has a good on play, and arguably the stopping attack is just better. So I do like Belphegor sleep mode. Okay, this is where things start getting funky. So I will go over the cards in order, and I will explain why I put these cards at the end, because it will make more sense. Beelzemon X Antibody. So you don't ever really want to play this card from hand. You always want to Digivolve one from Beelzemon. So Beelzemon, you play it for really cheap due to Gate of the Deadly Sins Inheritable. After you play it, I don't really want to rush my opponent. I know that, it's common belief that, Beelzemon is like the attacker of the deck. Since I'm playing a more defensive strategy, I don't really want to attack into my opponent's security. Like, especially now, people are playing too many memory boosts, too many training cards, too many tamers, too many option cards comparatively. So I don't want to swing and then possibly give them advantage. If I hit a boost or a training, then they basically have 2 memory efficiency later on. If I hit a tamer, then basically they will get advantage from the tamer. So I do not want to swing with Rush with Beelzemon. What I do want to do, play this so then I can at least trash cards from top of my deck. It will fill up my trash with 7 Great Demon Lords, Digivolve 2 my opponent's Digimon. And then, this deck just naturally trashes so many of your cards over time. You will have a very big trash. I would say that mid game, it's entirely possible to trash 2 to 3 cards from your opponent's security. So when Digivolving, if this Digimon has Beelzemon or X Antibody in its Digivolution cards, so you Digivolve off of Beelzemon for 1, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack for every 10 cards in your trash. So Agudamon, I don't really like the idea of having one singular attacker for game. Like, it doesn't even make sense, really. This is where Beelzemon X Antibody comes in. Like, I was thinking, how does this win con even work? But ignoring that for now, Beelzemon X Antibody, since the deck just innately tries to fill up your trash, as you add more 7 Great Demon Lords in, as you mill yourself from Beelzemon EX6, and as we will see very soon from Creepymon, Beelzemon X Antibody, you will take advantage of you having a bunch of cards in trash. You'll take advantage of having Beelzemon in play for very cheap. Digivolve this for 1. And then you can trash 2, maybe 3 securities from your opponent's security stack. So this is pretty good. I don't want to swing with Beelzemon that much. So Beelzemon X Antibody is my main way when I'm playing defensively to trash cards from my opponent's security. The drawback, of course, is that once you Digivolve over Beelzemon, you will no longer have that all turns effect. When Beelzemon X Antibody is delayed next turn, you'll have a different on deletion effect. But I do not currently run any Ipmons in my deck, so it doesn't matter. And even then, this will be delayed on my turn. So even if I am running Impmons will not have Rush, so they can't attack anyways. But they could have on plays or on deletion. But currently I'm not playing any. I don't think that it really matters to play the Impmons. But this alone is just really good for trashing 2 to 3 security cards from my opponent's security. Creepymon, blocker, on play when Digivolving. So this is also really good. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. For each level of the Digimon deleted by this effect, trash the top card of your deck. So similar to Beelzemon, this is also really good because you are getting more cards in trash, and the more cards you have in trash, the more likely that you will have a 7 Great Demon Lord trait in trash. So then you can continuously tuck them under. So I am playing the sort of play style where I will get a bunch of cards in trash, And by frequency, I will have more different name cards in trash. I can pick whichever name that I want to put under Agudamon. All turns effect, when this Digimon would leave the battle area other than in battle. Place one card with the 7 Great Demon Lords trait from your trash as the bottom Digivolution card of one of your Gate of Deadly Sins in your breeding area. So I do also like how this is removal. Beelzemon is nice. It will trash 4, de-digivolve 2, one of my opponent's Digimon. This will trash whatever the lowest DP is. So if I delete a level 5, which is the lowest DP Digimon, it will trash 5. If I delete a level 3, because that so happened to be lowest DP, I'll trash 3. But yeah, this, between Beelzemon and Creepymon, I will be able to mill myself, which will help me to tuck 7 Great Demon Lords from trash under Agudamon. Lilithmon, I'm kind of debating right now. Oh yeah, this also has blocker, by the way. Lilithmon, I'm kind of debating right now. It is a unique named 7 Great Demon Lord trait card. But I'm also not running Barbamon. Barbamon I don't really like for my deck. Barbamon I think would only really help me if I'm playing more rookies or champions, or even some tamers. So if I'm playing a more tamer reliant build, then Barbamon would be very good. But because I don't want to play tamers, because I want to have low Digimon tamer count, because I'm playing EX5 Levamon, then I'm not playing any tamers at the moment. But aside from that, Lilithmon I don't really like as much as the others, I should say. On play when Digivolving, until the end of your opponent's turn, while if your opponent's Digimon gains end of your turn, delete this Digimon. All turns once per turn, when this Digimon would leave the battle area other than in battle, by deleting one level 5 or lower Digimon, prevent it from leaving. Opponent's turn once per turn, when another Digimon is deleted, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So, I kind of don't like this as much. So first, let's break this piece by piece. On play effect, you can target one of your opponent's Digimon and then quote-unquote doom that Digimon. So at the end of your opponent's turn, that Digimon will be deleted. Most likely, whichever Digimon you target, your opponent will either try to circumvent that effect, or they'll just, decide, yeah, I'm going to lose this Digimon. I'm just going to attack security because, if it dies in security, at least I get to take out security, and then, knowing that we'll die anyways. So it will kind of not really meet the end of your turn delete this Digimon effect most of the time, because your opponent will either try to just go all in and then swing with that Digimon, or they will do something like, if they're playing purple, they'll use Calling from Darkness and get rid of it, or they will DNA Digivolve using it, so it will not be delayed, but end of your turn, delete this Digimon. I do not foresee this actually happening that much. All turns once per turn, when this Digimon would leave the battle area other than in battle, by deleting one level 5 or lower Digimon, prevent it from leaving. So this is kind of good if you are playing against Rookie Rush or any deck that has level 5 or under Digimon in play. And then start of your main phase, Gate of Deadly Sins will attempt to delete this. You can optionally delete a level 5 or lower Digimon, yours or your opponent, to keep this in play. However, bear in mind that if Gate does not delete anything, you do not get to put a card under. But, sometimes you might just want this in play. Opponent's turn once per turn. When another Digimon is deleted, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. It seems kind of nice. If you on-play this, force a Digimon to attack, then they're like, oh yeah, I kind of need to attack, so they will attack, either die in security, or end of turn be deleted. Then you will trash the top of their security stack. So I'm kind of on the fence about this. So I'm keeping it in for now, but if I take it out, I will most likely take out 3 Lilithmons, place in another Beelzemon X antibody, place in another Beelzemon. Then I'll figure out something. Maybe plus another Beelzemon sleep mode, or another option, which I will go over later. Agudamon. So I'm playing 3 at the moment. You don't really need 4. 4 is nice, but you don't really need it. Just because Beelzemon X can already trash security. Lilithmon can trash security. Agudamon, when you have... Oh yeah, and also Beelzemon has Rush, just in case you need the extra swing. But Agudamon, when digivolving when attacking, so this is really only relevant when you attack, because you will most of the time not digivolve into Agudamon. You may place up to 7 cards of different names in the 7 Great Demon Lords trait from your trash as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution cards. I'm playing 12 different 7 Great Demon Lords trait named cards in my deck. So there are a total of 13, but I'm not playing Barbermon. Yeah, it's surprising, but there are 13 7 Great Demon Lord trait cards of unique names. And we'll go over them in at the end of this video. But yeah, you can place up to 7 cards of different names and 7 Great Demon Lords traits from trash as this Digimon's Digivolution cards. So even options you can place under this card because it has the trait, and this doesn't specify that they have to be Digimon cards. If you place 4 more cards of this effect, delete one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers. That's also pretty nice. Bear in mind that this is really only when attacking. You could digivolve on your level 6 just to delete a Digimon or Tamer, but most of the time I don't think that will be worth it. When attacking by returning 7 cards with different names and the 7 Great Demon Lords trait from this Digimon's Digivolution cards to the bottom of the deck, delete 7 of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers. So first, you basically want to use this effect. You can stack them how you want. So for example, once you have 7 or more Digimon... 7 or more cards of different names and it's Digivolution cards, you can delete Gate of Deadly Sins and you play 1 Agudamon from trash at the end of opponent's turn. And then at the start of your turn, since you no longer have Gate of Deadly Sins, you will no longer delete your Digimon turn after turn, meaning that the Agudamon that you played at the end of opponent's turn will still remain in play. So you unsuspend as normal, but most likely you will not unsuspend anything. You will draw. Then you will be able to swing with Agudamon, because this was played during your opponent's turn, so it can swing. So when attacking, it currently has 0 Digivolution sources. You place 7 cards of different names and 7 Great Demon Lords from trash under this card. Possibly delete a Digimon or Tamer. And then when attacking, now they have 7 different sources with 7 Great Demon Lord. Then you can delete up to 7 of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, trash the top 7 cards of your opponent's security stack. For each card deleted by this effect, reduce the card's trash by 1. So basically, that was a mouthful. But you have 7 sources under this from the first one attacking. Now when attacking, return 7 of those sources, so basically all of your sources, to the bottom deck. You delete 7 of your opponent's Tamers or Digimon. This is mandatory. So if they have 7 or less, you must delete as much as you can. Or you delete up to 7 as much as you can. Whatever remainder you did not delete, then you will trash the top card of their security. So after the first when attacking effect, suppose they have 3 Digimon and or Tamers left. So you have to use, when you use the second when attacking, bottom deck 7, delete those 3 Digimon or Tamers. 7 minus 3 is 4. So you will trash the top 4 cards of your opponent's security. Then the attack will possibly be lethal. But yeah, this is nice. I would say that Lilithmon, Beelzemon X Antibody do help you in removing security cards. Creepymon is really good at removing your opponent's Digimon. Leviathan is good at removing your opponent's Digimon. Lucemon Chaos Mode BT7 specifically is good at removing Digimon and or Tamers. This could remove it, but it's not really reliable enough. But I would say you have some pretty good removal options, as well as some good Digimon to trash security cards. So by the time that Ogudamon does attack, you don't need to trash as many security cards, and you don't need to delete as many Digimon or Tamers, because you will most likely be controlling the board with a combination of Lilithmon, Creepymon, Beelzemon, Leviathan, and Lucemon Chaos Mode. We will go over Rage Mode in a second, but Rage Mode technically could also help, and so can Leviathan X. So first, I guess let's go over Leviathan X. So I do like Leviathan X. It has a Trash Alterns effect. When an opponent's Digimon or Tamer is played by effect, one of your Leviathan or one of your Digimon with X antibody and Digivolution cards may Digivolve into this card from your trash without paying the cost. So most likely you will want to go Leviathan into this. It's not really reliable, but it doesn't hurt to run this in case it does come up. So I do have more reasons for why I'm playing this. If this isn't in trash, you could Digivolve this off of Leviathan for 2. So that could also come up, but most likely I would want to trash this as soon as possible. And if you look at the deck holistically, I will explain why this card makes sense for me. When Digivolving, if your opponent has as many or more Digimon and Tamers as you, delete one of your opponent's Tamers. Then delete one of your opponent's level 3, level 5, and level 7 Digimon. So this is really great. I'm choosing not to run any Tamers in this deck currently. If I remove this Lilithmon, I might, add in some Tamers. But currently I'm playing 0 Tamers. Most likely I will always have equal or less than my opponent in terms of Digimon or Tamers. So the when Digivolving is very surely going to activate. But yeah, this is really good removal in case it does come up. Even if it doesn't come up, it's just a nice, unique named 7 Great Demon Lords. So I am playing Beelzemon X Antibody because it's a 7 Great Demon Lord. Leviathan X Antibody because this is 7 Great Demon Lord. And also, I don't really need to play Sleep Mode, but it is a 7 Great Demon Lord. So this is pretty nice to have. So this is why I have so many 7 Great Demon Lords in deck. Belphemon Rage Mode. Start of your main phase, delete all of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. Then if you have 6 or fewer cards in your hand, this Digimon gets plus 3000 DP and gains security attack plus 1 for the turn. You will most likely never activate the end of attack effect because you will not get a chance to attack with this. But you do get to activate the start of main phase effect. So there are 2 things to keep in mind. So this is a start of main phase effect. This is also a start of main phase effect. Because you have 2 simultaneous start of main phase effects, you can choose the order for which one you want to resolve before the other. So although you do have that mandatory delete all of your Digimon at the start of your main phase, you can always use Belphemon's Rage Mode start of main phase effect before you actually activate and resolve Gate of Deadly Sins start of main phase effect. So if this is out start of your main phase, delete all of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. The 3000 DP and security attack does not matter, but if you have this out, then you just board wipe their level 5s and under. So I do like this currently more than the EX6 Belphemon. This seems kind of mid. So on play when Digivolving, you may trash up to 3 cards in your hand. For each card trashed by this effect, suspend one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. Then delete all of your opponent's suspended Digimon at the lowest play cost. So again, I don't really like this. Similar to Leviathan EX6 reasoning, I don't want to trash cards from my hand and not draw cards after that. So basically, Leviamon and Belphegor Rage Mode will just deplete my hand size. And honestly, the on play doesn't seem as good as other on plays. It doesn't even seem as good as the Belphegor Rage Mode from BT13. Even considering that it isn't on play, it activates start of my main phase. But even that card seems better than this Belphegor Rage Mode. It does have that on play that I have been mentioning all turns a lot that I have been mentioning. But again, you don't really need all of your Digimon to have it because you are ramping a considerable amount already. But yeah, this on play seems really weak. I would rather have this Belphegor Rage Mode. So then, if for some reason my opponent has no Digimon or Tamers, I'm like, oh yeah, they might just swarm out with me at me next turn, or they might push out of raising next turn, or something. But Belphegor Rage Mode, I can just drop this for really cheap, and then once it's on the field, I can just delete all of my opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon, start my main phase. So I think that this is a really strong effect, even considering that's not on play. 7th Lightning, trash all turns. When one of your Digimon digivolves into Leviamon X Antibody by returning this card to the bottom of the deck, delete one of your opponent's level 4 and level 6 Digimon. Main phase effect, so even if... Main effect, I mean. If you don't have this in trash, you don't use it for the trash all turns effect. By trashing one card in your hand, delete one of your opponent's level 4 and level 6 Digimon. So that main effect could come up, but really, I really want this card in trash. It is a 7 Great Demon Lords card. So one, if I need to, I can always tuck this under Ogudamon, or I can tuck it under Gate of Deadly Sins. But, this is just a card that I really want in trash early. So once I do digivolve into Leviamon X Antibody, it will have even more removal. This will remove a level 3, level 5, and level 7. This will then remove a level 4 and level 6. So basically, if this is in trash, I go into Leviamon X, I can basically delete one of every Digimon level. Level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6, level 7. So, this is really good. I really want this in trash as soon as possible. But even if it's not in trash, I can just use it from hand if my opponent has a level 4 or a level 6 that I just want to get rid of. It's not ideal, but, it's still a really good option to even use from hand or even from security. 7th Full Cluster. Trash, your turn. When one of your Digimon digivolves into Beelzemon X Antibody by returning this card to the bottom of your deck, delete one of your opponent's Digimon at the lowest level. So this is also a card that I really want to get in trash really early. So then that way, once I play out Beelzemon for cheap, Evo into Beelzemon X Antibody for 1 memory, I will be able to trash security cards, and I will also be able to delete one of my opponent's Digimon at the lowest level. Main effect, if I don't even have it in the trash and just use it from hand, delete one of your opponent's Digimon at the lowest level. So this is still a really good effect, even if just used from hand, especially if your opponent only has one singular Digimon. So you'll be able to delete it. You could, for example, play Creepymon for really cheap, delete their lowest DP Digimon, and then, now that their lowest DP Digimon is deleted, you can then 7th Full Cluster, or same thing with Lucemon Chaos Mode, Leviamon. If you get rid of their other Digimon first, and then 7th Full Cluster, it will, be able to really synergize really well. You do have to delete their lowest level Digimon, but if you take care of the lowest level before, then it will be their newest lowest level Digimon. But first, let's look at this deck holistically so everything makes more sense. I'm playing 12 7 Great Demon Lord unique named cards. So I have a set of the 7 Great Demon Lords, that's 1. Lucemon Chaos Mode, that's 2. Beelzemon, that's 3. Leviamon, that's 4. Beelzemon Sleep Mode, that's 5. Beelzemon X, that's 6. Creepymon, that's 7. Lilithmon, that's 8. Agudamon surprisingly does not count, so we'll skip over that. Leviamon X Anti, that's 9. Belphemon Rage Mode, that is 10. 7th Lightning, that's 11. 7th Full Cluster, that is 12. So I only have 3 Agudamons, 4 Boogiemons, 4 Lucimons, 4 Systemon Blancs. So only 15 cards of my 50 card Digimon deck is 7 Great Demon Lords. So that is a very significant amount. Lucimon will like basically never whiff. Like there is a chance that it will whiff, like if you were really unlucky, but you will mostly be able to grab your cards. Boogiemon also will not really whiff that much. I am playing more options, so Ascent of the 7 Great Demon Lords, 7th Full Cluster, 7th Lightning, so you have 9 option cards. So a little under 20% of your deck are option cards. But again, I might take out, for example, a Lilithmon, add in another option or something. Or I might add in some Tamers, but I'm not quite sure how I feel about Lilithmon yet. The effect, opponent's turn once per turn, when another Digimon is deleted, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack, is still kind of nice, but I'm still debating about it. So let's go over this again. So when this card would leave the battle area, you will most likely have this on top of a Lucimon, or maybe have a Lucimon trash. But if you end of your turn go into Lucimon Chaos mode, then it will always be on top of Lucimon. So if it came into play into the play area because of the Lucimon's effect, it will be on top of Lucimon. If you just played it from hand because you didn't want to use the Lucimon effect, but you at least wanted to use the on play effect, then maybe you have a Lucimon trash, and then you can either, when your opponent tries to remove this, or start of your main phase, your gate will remove this. You can then cheese out another on-play ability. Either Beelzemon to trash cards from your deck, de-digivolve 2 one of your opponent's Digimon. Leviamon to delete more Digimon, gain some memory. Belphemon Sleep Mode to save this from opponent's effects for a turn. Creepymon to delete something and also trash cards from deck. Lilithmon to give something Doom, keep this in play for a while, and then, possibly trash top of your opponent's security stack. This does not have any on plays. This you can cheese out, so then your next turn you can board wipe your opponent's level 5 and lower. But I would say that this is really great for even just cheesing out a level 6 from trash, so you can get more removal, or you can get more control over the board. If you do go into Beelzemon, I'm not sure yet, but I might focus more on Lucimon Chaos Mode, more on Beelzemon, more on Ascent of the 7 Great Demon Lords, so that I can maybe rush more of Beelzemon, but I'm not quite sure how I want the deck to go. It's just that I think that this is looking like the pretty good first draft for the deck. Oh yeah, so holistically looking at the deck, this is why I put them in this order. So I really want these cards to be trashed early. Agudamon, I want, it to be in trash, because again, Give Deadly Sins will play a Agudamon from trash without paying costs. So I kind of do want Agudamon in trash. I also don't really want to digivolve into this card. It does have a nice when digivolving effect, but it doesn't seem as good as just getting in trash. So most likely I will not keep this in hand. I'll just get this into trash early. Leviamon X. I could Digivolve into on top of Leviamon for 2, but I do want this in trash. So then, if your opponent plays out a Digimon or Tamer by effect, you can just Digivolve one of your Leviamon into this card. So, if by chance you have a Leviamon on the play, in play, which is likely because you have 3 Leviamons, 3 Lucemon Chaos Modes, you have a set of the 7 Great Demon Lords, so you can recur Leviamon over and over. So if you have in play when your opponent plays a Digimon or Tamer by effect, you can go into Leviamon X, and then delete more of their Digimon. I also want these options in trash, and I also kind of want Balphamon Rage Mode in trash. So basically these 5 are the targets that you really want to trash early. Ogudamon, Leviamon X, Balphamon Rage Mode, 7th Lightning, and 7th Full Cluster. This is good in trash because you can just always on-play Balphamon Sleep Mode for even a cheaper cost. So between 14 cost and 12 costs, most likely you will prefer just playing Balphamon Sleep Mode, tucking this under it. It's immune to effects, so your opponent can't even really remove it. And then start of your main phase, or technically end of your opponent's turn, you trash this card, it'll be Balphamon Rage Mode, and then start of your main phase, you can board wipe the level 5 and under. So I do like Balphamon Sleep Mode. I would prefer playing Balphamon Sleep Mode. I would prefer having Balphamon Rage Mode in trash, so that I can have those extra effects, and for cheaper cost. So I would prefer Ogudamon, Leviamon X, Balphamon Rage Mode to be trashed, and of course 7th Lightning and 7th Full Cluster. They have good main effects. I would not say that this especially is great, but this is decent. This is good. So, I could keep this in hand, but most likely I would just want to trash them. Get them in trash, so then once I do go into Leviamon X antibody, I can delete more Digimon, potentially. Or once I go into Beelzemon X antibody, I can delete a Digimon at the lowest level. Ideally, I would like to get several 7th Full Clusters in the trash. So then once I do go into Beelzemon X antibody, these all have the potential to resolve. So we'll get rid of one first, get rid of the lowest level, then get rid of another one, get rid of the lowest level, get rid of the third one, get rid of the lowest level. So the more that you have in trash, the better. So these are the 5 cards I really want in trash. These are the cards that I really want to play early. Systemon, Block, Lucemon, Boogeyman. In that order, so I can get a 7 Great Demon Lord in trash. A set of the 7 Great Demon Lords if I don't really have anything else to use. This will help me to accelerate from trash under Gate of Deadly Sins, and then later on, it will help me to reactivate the on-play of my Digimon. Even if not on-play, it could be something like, oh, I just want Leviamon out. So if I have Leviamon X in hand, and it's necessary to go into it, I could go into it that way. Same thing for Beelzemon and Beelzemon X antibody. But there's a lot of recursion with this deck that I like. This will recur your 7 Great Demon Lords from trash, put under Gate of Deadly Sins. On a later turn, you can play it out to reuse its effects again, or just digivolve into its X antibody form. Good removal, Tamer or Digimon. This can help you to recover, but most likely your opponent will choose whatever is least harmful to them. But this will help you to recur a level 6 7 Great Demon Lord later. This has Rush, which could come in handy, but I do prefer playing defensively, so I will most of the time not rush my opponent. But if they have 0 security, or if they have 1 security or something, I could play this out, rush, play a different one, Beelzemon, it has Rush, so I can then swing for game that way. So, the Rush could come in handy, but most of the time I will not rush this unless I find that it will provide me lethal. But yeah, this is nice at just getting cards into the trash. Leviathan, really good at keeping control of the board. Belphegor sleep mode, I can blink attacks, but I can just, protect Belphegor rage mode. Start my turn, just delete level 5s and lower. This will help me to trash security. In combination with 7th full cluster in trash, I can delete several of my opponent's Digimon, depending on how many I have of these in trash. Creepymon, just really good at deleting something and also milling yourself. This, I'm not quite sure at the moment, but I am playing 3 until I see how good or not good I like it in this deck. But yeah, it seems interesting. I'm not quite sure how I like it. Agudamon, I think that 3 is good. With the amount of trashing, Sistermon Blanc, Lucamon, Boogeyman will help you to cycle through the deck quicker. Beelzemon will just trash top 4 cards. Creepymon will trash anywhere from top 3 to top 7 cards. But yeah, you will fill up your trash really rapidly. It's no problem at all to have, at least one Agudamon in trash. Most likely by the time that you have enough resources to play Agudamon, then, chances are very high that you'll have Agudamon in trash, even if you're only running 3. And I also don't find that 4 is necessary. Leviathan X antibody you want in trash. You want all these in trash. So yeah, this is the deck, basically. You are just cycling through your cards, getting pieces into the trash, keeping control of the board, stopping your opponent's Digimon and Tamers, so just continuously getting rid of them. There are some effects that will trash security, but I'm not really focused on that. I'm just really focused more on just keeping control of the board. But admittedly, Beelzemon X Antibody, Lilithmon are more fun. If I have control of the board, I'm like, oh yeah, let's, finally trash some security. I'll just play them and then, trash security. It's pretty fun. So I'm playing the more defensive build. I'm not really attacking my opponent as much, but I am keeping control. I'm trashing the security, whittling them down slowly as I build up to Agudamon, and then Agudamon will attack. Since I have been keeping control of their board state, they will not have as much Digimon or Tamers. So Agudamon will be able to delete some amount of Digimon or Tamers and then trash a bunch of securities. So I do like Agudamon. Like, Agudamon didn't really make sense as a finisher to me. I was like, why is there only one Digimon attacking? And that is probably because you're playing Creepymon, you're playing Lucamon Chaos Mode, I'm playing Leviathan. So you are keeping track, you are keeping control of your opponent's board state. So their board state is not large. So then once Agudamon finally comes out, and then does it when attacking, you aren't deleting as many Digimon or Tamers. So if it doesn't delete as many, they can trash more security cards. So this is the build that I'm thinking for 7 Great Demon Lords. It is my first draft, so I will make some tweaks and changes. But I think that this build looks pretty good for me at the moment, so I'm pretty happy with it. But yeah, thanks for watching. I will upload more deck builds very soon in the future.